Hey YouTube, it's me, Numistacker, and I'm here this afternoon on Saturday with another kind of live-ish video. I've just finished watching the excellent video that Shadowstack has just put up on 5 traits for successful selection of collector coins. And I thought it was a really interesting video, and it raised some very interesting dynamics of the collector market and what to go for and what to stay away from. And I thought I'd make a kind of similar kind of video, but from a slightly different perspective. The first thing that I always say to myself is, and I say it over and over and over again, is 98% of the issues that are out there and introduced all the time will fail and they will lose money. So, and it's no problem buying issues that lose money, providing your motivation is that you want something that looks nice or you want it to fill a slot in a particular collection. That's fine. It's fine to buy everything. It's fine not to be too selective. It's not a problem. I'm one of those collectors and stackers that like to try and make the best possible decisions. I think in that respect, a little bit like the way Shadowstack does it. However, I don't tend to buy in the same bulk as Shadowstack does. And some of the stuff I buy is maybe sometimes a little bit older because I take a slightly wider perspective of the market. But I just wanted to give you my 5, which are slightly different, to kind of open up the discussion and the debate. And so let's try and look at some of the ways you can take better decisions and maybe not get burnt. Okay, so my first thing that I look at is series. Okay, so let's take this one. It's going to be the Luna 2 from the Perth Mint. It's a great example of something which, in fact, it's now on its 2nd series, and it's quite likely there'll be a 3rd series. And most people who've bought most of these coins haven't got burnt and have done reasonably well. Some of them have turned out to be exceptionally good. For example, the Mouse 2 ounce, the Ox 2 ounce, and a lot of people are now after these Monkey 2 ounces because actually the Monkey 2 ounce has been one of the lowest mintages in recent years, and most places have sold out. These have risen in price from maybe $40 to $80 each over the last couple of months since people realized that they were going to be a little bit rarer than some of the others. So yeah, the coins which are part of a successful series mean that people want to carry on buying the new release and want to keep going, and that's a really good thing for collectors, because it means that people who come to that series will then be there demanding some of the first releases. So if you think that you're at the start of a successful series, buy a lot of the first couple of years, because if it's successful, in 8 or 9 years' time, there'll be people who want to fill in, and those people won't have been around at the beginning and they'll have to pay a premium for doing it. Some good examples of that, for example, are the ubiquitous Panda. That's been going for 30 odd years, and or 35 years even. Started in the 80s, and a lot of the early ones are pretty low mintages, and there's a lot of collectors out there who like them. But people buy Pandas because they feel that it's pretty safe to buy a coin which is part of a series. Now, not all Pandas will do well. This is a 2016 Panda. They made, I think, 8 million Pandas in 2016. They're very, very unproven. The new stuff, the stuff before 2010 is pretty good. But, the question is, it's part of a series, it's fairly safe, but, watch the detail of it. Make sure that things don't change too much in the mint's favour and too much against you as a collector. So that's kind of number 1, which is really the series coins. So number 2 is about price history. So, and this applies a lot to older coins, and here's a couple of examples of coins that have been around a long time. So we've got a half sovereign from 1937. 1937 is long enough ago so that there have been thousands and thousands of sales and purchases of this coin over the years. The same thing applies to this one, the 1902 matte sovereign, double sovereign. There are lots and lots of people who collect these things. There is a massive price history through auctions, and you can easily go to the auction sites like ha.com, join up. It doesn't cost anything to join, and you can take a look at one of these coins and go back at least 10-15 years in price history. And you can see, for example, that in 2007 this coin was probably $200, and it's probably $1,200 in 2017. So you can make your buying decisions. It's a little bit like, do you buy brand new companies like like Snap, or do you buy an old company like I don't know, Imperial Brands, British American Tobacco? No, do you buy something with a dividend history, or do you buy something new which you think could have a capital appreciation? So you pay your money and you take your choice, but don't ignore older stuff, because older stuff does have a price history. It may not double in value in 6 months like something new that captures the imagination, but it could be a lot safer place for your money in many ways than some of the brand new releases. So that's number 2. Number 3, mintage anomalies. And mintage anomalies are interesting, usually part of a series. Like, there's a couple of examples here. The Libertad. So they've been producing the same design of Libertad for a number of years, but for reasons best known to the Mexican Mint, in 2014, the mintage went to 250 coins worldwide for this coin and the rest of the set, apart from the quarter ounce. So what you've got is something which is part of a series, lots and lots of people who collect it, but most of those collectors cannot own a 2014 because there weren't very many of them. And so look for things like that. And I've got another example of something like the 2014. So let's look in a bit more detail at the half ounce proof mouse from 2008. 2008, there were a number of people who've been collecting Lunar 1s. Some of the earlier mintages were pretty reasonably high. However, this was the crossover year between Lunar 1 and Lunar 2, and they tried to do end of Lunar 1 and beginning of Lunar 2 at the same time, whilst also there was a world financial crisis. As a result of all that, only I think 200 of these coins were ever sold and minted. And so this, whereas the one of the regular half ounces might be worth $120 maybe, this one is probably worth maybe $500 or something like that. I'm not sure exactly how much it's worth, but there are very few of these. There's only been 1 or 2 have come up for sale since I've been collecting. So that's another example of one of these price anomalies. Okay. The next one that I think has an influence is crowd wisdom. And what do I mean by crowd wisdom? I mean the Facebook coin groups. I mean the forums, the Silver Forum, Silver Stackers. It's all of the so-called experts who say, well, yes, I like that one, but I don't really like that one, or that's a good example of a design, or that one isn't. And if a number of those people agree at the beginning of a journey, that can have a massive effect on the desirability and the price of a coin. I've got a couple of examples. I haven't got one of the examples. I sold my set, but the 2014 Britannia was a very good example. Everyone said that coin was the best Britannia design for years. People loved the design. The design had every single thing going for it. And as a result, all of those coins doubled or tripled in price, and the big 5 ounce one went absolutely mad. There are only a few of them available. But I don't think that would have happened unless the forums and the crowd wisdom had indicated to all the other people who collect that it was a good thing to collect. Another example, I think, of that happening at the moment, to a greater or lesser extent, is the Queen's Beast series. I mean, there are a lot of these coins around of different shapes, sizes, colours, bullion and proof. But I think that this is a series, kind of unusually for the Royal Mint, that's been adopted by the various crowds. So I think that, it's obviously a lovely design and a really nice coin, and reasonable. I think it's a great buy actually in the bullion end of the market. I particularly like the new 10-ounce one. I've got one of those on order from APMEX, which will be delivered. Okay, but I think that this is a good example of one where a lot of the demand has come from a gradual adoption of the idea of the Queensbee series through crowd wisdom. Okay, and my last example is one which I call nostalgia. That a lot of the mints try and find ways of buying into the nostalgia kind of thing. Some of them do it successfully, some of them do it unsuccessfully. I haven't got an example here, but I've ordered a couple. Take a look at the new silver proof from the Dutch Mint, which is sold out at the Mint with the old sort of 15th century design on it. I haven't even got a picture of one, but you can probably find it, or I can find out more information for you. I think that sold through nostalgia. The 1989 Sovereign design, which harks back 500 years, that was acknowledged to be one of the best Sovereign designs ever, and that was based on nostalgia. Then you've got the 2017 Sovereign, which I think is a great design, but that goes back to 1817. And people feel like they're buying a little bit of the past when they go for one of these coins. So the 2016 is exactly the same coin, proof, beautiful, no wreath, no celebration of 200 years. That's probably worth a little bit more actually than the mint cost now. But the 2017 one sparked the imagination and is probably worth double what the mint value was, if only in a few months. Another good example of trying to get the nostalgia thing going is the South African Mint, and what the South African Mint are doing with the Krugerrands. So you've got these absolutely beautiful Krugerrands, the first silver Krugerrand ever. It's got a value of R1 because by law these coins have to have a value under legislation. The 50th kind of privy mark for the 50th anniversary. There are only 15,000 of these, and these are selling at massive prices already on eBay, and even bigger through MCM and Government and people like that. Here's a couple of the quite a lot of them I'll be sending for grading. But I hope that gave you some ideas. That's really 5 other views of the things to choose, apart from really whether a coin has an animal or a swan or something else on it. I think that when you're looking, it's actually pricing, rarity, mintage. It's a very complicated thing as far as I can see. It's really, really easy to lose a fortune and get it wrong. And I'm not saying I get it right all the time, but I'm still learning a very valuable lesson, and I still make mistakes. And I think the community we have on YouTube does a lot to protect us from the worst of those mistakes quite often by listening to other people and contributing. So let me know what you guys think, and please like, subscribe and comment.